My favorite tip for smaller grapplers, control the chin. Controlling the chin of your opponent is a very important thing to be able to do, especially in scrambling situations and from top side control. So we know, or we hear all the time from commentators, coaches, whomever, that head positioning on the fence is super critical, right? How many times have we seen guys like this in a fight, and this guy here gets his head underneath the chin, and he's lifting, and he's forcing his opponent's head into the wall. We always say, oh yeah, he's got great head positioning. He does have great head positioning, but why is that? Why is that so great? One of the things in fence grappling is you're actually looking to get underneath and lift. That's going to allow you to have a little bit less weight on your feet. You get trips, whatever. What I want to focus on today is what I think is almost the more important part of it, to be honest with you. And that is anytime I have my opponent's chin trapped, going one direction, the chin controls the hips. There's no way for Paul to turn that way when his head is facing this way and I'm controlling. I've got wrist control into that, but what's really keeping him here is my head against his head. So try to turn that way, Paul. Like really try. Like actually try. Like a man. Okay? Try like a man, Paul. I only say that because on my channel, people was like, she could never do that if he was actually trying. That's one move where even when he's actually trying, it still works.
100%.
Now he could do other things that would totally F me up, but whatever. That one thing is working. Yeah. So we have to think about grappling on the ground. We got vertical grappling. It's almost like this is the ground. Then it works as well when you're on the mat. You've got vertical grappling, you've got horizontal grappling. So on the ground, two of the places I should say where I use this the most are top side control. Down. So when I'm in top side control, like I said, you can come over and say, my whole experience as a grappler is 99% of the time being smaller than my opponent. So I always have to look for ways to be able to control them. And I think especially early on in people's jiu-jitsu journey, they're not comfortable with certain things. It's weird to smash your face into another person's face that you may not have known until an hour ago. But that's just jiu-jitsu and you just have to get over it. I think especially women, it's uncomfortable to be that physically close, especially with a guy that, again, you maybe met that morning. But again, throw it out the door. It's jiu-jitsu. We got to figure out what works. So one of the things, obviously, there's a lot of things I need to control here. I need to be chest to chest. I need to make sure my distribution of weight is good so that Paul can't just easily toss me over. But I always found success by using not just shoulder pressure, but making sure I include the chin in my shoulder pressure. And that's where small shoulders are actually a little bit of a benefit. So not only am I pushing here and like have this nice tight grip, I'm not necessarily holding his shoulder unless I'm looking to set up a submission with that. This is not the goal. This is the goal for me. Because not only am I putting pressure on his neck and a little bit of his artery, like if I were to squeeze here long enough, it would become pretty uncomfortable. I'm putting my shoulder across the bottom of his jaw so that literally with that one move, I've cut his directional options in half with that one thing. And even though I'm smaller, like I showed you on the wall, it still works. So, and at least here, it gives me time to think about, okay, now that I'm here, now I'm talking to you guys with my head up. Obviously, if I was grappling, I would bury my head as well. But now that I'm here, what options do I have? And Paul only has the option to go this way. So it's just one of those little details that when you're thinking about your shoulder pressure, don't just think about squeezing tight. Think about using your shoulder and almost like rotating it down. It's kind of a weird thing to do with your clavicle and neck. But like when I'm here, I'm thinking about rotating my shoulder down and creating this flat plane that forces his head this direction. Another spot where this is super effective, at least for me personally, this happens to me all the time, because Paul is really good at blocking my hooks when I go for rear naked chokes a lot, because again, it is a submission that works well for a smaller opponent to be able to overpower a bigger opponent. So I get here, and maybe I've got my rear naked choke, but he always is able to block my hooks. I'm trying to get this hook. Remember, Paul, you blocked my hooks.
I'm sorry. I was blocking this one too.
I know you were. So, yeah, whether he's blocking it with his knee or if he's grabbing it with his hand, he might be using one of his hands to fight my choke, but he's so good at blocking this. I can never get what I want here. So what I actually do is I allow my choke to be loose. I allow it to be a little bit loose, but still sort of in place. And then I will put my head here. And even though I can't finish this choke from here because I'm no longer chest to back, I will use it to wrestle his chin. Actually, I would have gotten the choke there, huh? I'll use it to wrestle his chin to be able to get back on top. I'll show that again. So we're here. I wasn't able to get my hooks in, and it could be some other scrambly position. Maybe he's even like fighting one of my choking hands, and we're sort of in this like, dog fight to get this. That's a good example, actually. Maybe I don't have the full rear naked choke grip yet. Maybe I'm just gable gripped. I'm gonna come here, and because I want to get on top, I'm gonna use my head to wrestle his chin, get my hips out, and once I get here, I stick with it. I stay with it, and I keep going with it, and then I find whatever goodies I find. So just that concept of always being aware that I can use my head, my chest, maybe it's a forearm, maybe it's a foot, depending on what position you're in. Anytime that you can do this to someone, you've cut their options in half in terms of where their hips can go and the rest of their body can go. So there you go. It's a big tip for smaller grapplers. Fight the chin. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you liked it. Please, 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 dear God, like, subscribe. It helps me so much. Hit the notifications bell. Trying really hard to grow this channel this year. So many more videos on the way. We'll see you there.